Hello everyone. Today I'm going to dealing with the topic eco-deconstruction, reading climate change through Derrida and Timothy Morton. Here is my academic information table of content, and my research question is that how can eco-deconstruction combining Derrida's ethical deconstructive critique of anthropocentrism and Timothy Morton's ontology of a hyperobject provides a framework to understand human ethical responsibility in responding to the non-human temporal and distributed impact of climate change. So hypothesis is that eco-deconstruction destabilizes the traditional notion of a separate, stable nature and decentered human subjectivity, revealing climate change as a hyper object that demands ethical engagement. However, the infinite and symmetrical ethical demand identified the Derrida creates attention while humans are ontologically decentered. They remain the necessary agents capable of negotiating a responsibility for planetary survivance. Here is about Jacob Derrida, Timothy Morton, and what is eco-deconstruction. So, eco-deconstruction combines Derridian philosophy with ecological thinking. It deconstructs the human nature binary, showing that nature is not outside language or culture; it's a part of same web of meanings. Key terms: deconstruction, oikos, and anthropocentrism. So here is the deconstruction. Derrida's method of reading that shows how binary oppositions rest on a hidden instabilities. Oikos, it is a Greek word which means house or home. So this word oikos and logos are make these words ecology. Anthropocentrism is a philosophical view that humans are centered most significant entities, often placing nature as a subordinate. The crisis of anthropocentric oikos, humanity's geophysical terraforming marks this failure. We have destabilized the planetary home through dominant human logic. Derrida's ethical deconstructive turn. Derrida's project dislocate foundational hierarchies. And deconstruction shows that every hierarchy is already fractured. He integrated the animal as a singular category. They have given themselves the right to give the name animal to all living and expect man. Through deconstruction, the human subject must face its own limits. Morton's object-oriented ontology and dark ecology. So, object-oriented ontology philosophy that all objects have independent existence beyond human perception. Dark ecology accepts uncertainty, paradox, and interconnectedness instead of mastery. Morton's hyperobjects and definition and its traits. So these hyperobjects, non-local, because phased and interobjective. These are these very five characteristics of this work. This hyperobject. So hyperobjects are massively distributed in time and space, such as that any particular manifestation never reveals that totality of hyperobject. Climate change is a hyper object. So, phasing time and space exists radically inside objects, rippling through them. It phasing means that different places and times experience different intensity. We see only slice at the time. Interobjectivity, it arises from sun, carbon, energy system, etc. We see it via impulse like rising sea levels and extreme weather. Okay, story extreme events and hyperobject imprints. In 2024, the WMO report recorded 1,100 unprecedented extreme weather events globally, events more severe than any previously observed in those regions. These extreme events, hurricanes, floods, heat waves, are symptoms, not causes. They points to deeper non-local systematic force, because hyperobject they are non-local and distributed. No single event fully is a cause. Is a fragmented footprint of what is happening at scale. Another case study: permafrost thaw and deferred trace. A huge carbon reservation now releasing greenhouse gases. When permafrost thaws, is a release carbon dioxide and methane protein GS into the atmosphere. Deferred consequency past action hunting the presence. The Arctic tundra has shifted from being a carbon sink to net emitter in recent years. Thawing is a non-human agency, the hyperobject at a work within. So the permafrost ecosystem carbon loss many continues under net zero could hinder climate change and migration effort. The ethical aporia, Derrida versus Morton. Derrida's ethical demand is a signified and asymmetrical. Humans are always indebatable to other. Morton's stance decouples human certainty, emphasizing objects over ethical subject position. The tension is that if humans are radically decentered, decentered, who carries responsibility. To act, we need strategic humanism, not mastery, but responsibility in humanity. Climate change once opened a new space for the decision and responsibility amid the incalculable. Survivance, grief, works, and ethical vigor. Survivance, the act of counting life, resisting collapse, bearing a witness in crisis. Grief, work, acknowledging losses as part of ethical awareness. One cannot wager publici- uh, publicly on survival of archive without thereby giving it an extra chance. Here is my learning outcome that I have gained insight from into how deconstruction combines Derrida's ethical and Morton's hyperobjects to rethink human-environment relations. I understand that how climate phenomena like extreme weather and forms though demand ethical engagement. Conclusion and significance. Eco-deconstruction destabilizes fixed binaries and reveals hidden dependencies. Morton's hyperobject gives us an ontology that first the scale of climate change. This framework helps provide philosophical insight and practical climate ethics. These are my references, and thank you. Now, if you have any questions, then feel free to ask.